Good afternoon. It's Lindsay. It's Friday, November 8th, 2024, and I just thought I was actually going to go do something, but I took a detour. I mean, I went turned the wrong way and I ended up here at the cemetery. Crazy how that works, but I was going to go somewhere completely different and I accidentally ended up turning on the wrong street and I kind of fell upon this cemetery here in kind of east side uh I guess kind of east side-ish San Antonio. I've been here before, but it's been a long time, so I was like, okay, I can go ahead and stop. It's a perfect weather for a little walk in the cemetery. You know, kind of not too hot, not too cold, but muggy, overcast, and we just had Day of the Dead recently, and I didn't even go to the cemetery for that, but I did light my altar and had my shrine and all that to the dead people. But so I guess whatever. I just saw a really strange. I took a photo of a kind of strange tombstone, in my opinion, a little bit odd. I mean, okay, it makes me wonder. I'm gonna go ahead and walk towards it and film it because I have not seen something like that at a graveyard. Okay, I've never seen a tombstone like that, and I was kind of like, okay, not quite, kind of like shock and awe moment, like, okay, what, not quite sure what to think of it. My first reaction. Wait a minute, where did it go? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where did it go? Where is that? Where is that weird? Oh, here it is. Okay, this one. It says Marcelina Garcia, July 17th, 1940, July 14th, 2020. Beloved wife, mother, and grandmother. And then Indio, beloved husband, father, and grandfather. Well, he hasn't died yet. He was born in 1954. God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Oh my God, that sounds like something from AA. That sounds like the AA Big Book prayer. The I remember I know that that's in the AA because I remember that it's like the Serenity prayer in AA. I remember that one. But anyway, look at this. Look at what's kind of weird about it is there's a gun, okay, and it's pointed at her. There's a picture of her a gun barrel pointed right at her face. Um, all right. I mean, I'm just thinking. Well, I mean, maybe she liked guns. She was a police officer, or she worked in law enforcement, or something to do with guns. But in that, I mean, okay. I'm really curious. How did she die? Did she die from a gunshot wound? Did somebody shoot her in the head? I'm not trying to be morbid or sound mean, but isn't that a little bit weird? A tombstone would be like that. I mean, can you see it? I hope I'm filming it as best I can on my phone. So I just had to talk about that because that gets you thinking. Talk about guns, and speaking of guns, that's a good topic now that I think about it, because the Constitution obviously gives us a right to bear arms in the United States. That's one thing that we have is uh, the right to bear arms, and thank God for that. Oh, and then the back of it says the Duke. The back of the tombstone says the Duke. I guess they just wanted to make a joke out of it. Some people like to have a sense of humor when it comes to death, but it's the strangest. I have to say that's probably the strangest tombstone I have ever seen in my life. One of them. I mean, well, okay. But so back to the gun thing. Yeah, I believe that guns, they want to take away the gun rights of people for protection and self-protection and the right to bear arms. But now that we have Trump back in office, which, a Republican, I think that more people are realizing that the Constitution has a lot of validity and that things like gun rights and the right to bear arms, well, same thing, is important to nowadays, especially considering the kind of world that we live in. It's important to know how to use a gun. Yeah, it is important for self-defense to have a gun, I think, because Um, you can't really trust the police when you're being violated and something's happening to you in your own home on your own property. There is something called the castle doctrine, where if you shoot somebody on your property, apparently you may be able to get away with it legally, according to the castle doctrine. But um, what's so messed up is that, like, even if you're killing, if you have to kill somebody on your property who's trying to hurt you, like rape you or kill you for self-defense, you're the one who gets in trouble. Like, you're the one who gets like arrested and whatever. So it's messed up. And yeah, I believe that we should just you know, we ought to, people need to have a gun. People should have a gun. I'm not afraid of guns. I don't like them, but I'm not afraid of them, and I know how to use one if I have to, and just for my own safety and protection. And that just got me talking. I wasn't planning on talking about guns right now by any means, but I just happened to come across that tombstone, pretty much the first one that I came across today, and so it got me thinking about guns. So yes, people should have a gun. They should protect themselves from intruders, and that's that. And that lady made me think about it. That weird, whatever. So I don't know. I don't know how. Like I said, I ended up here. I guess it was no coincidence that I ended up at the cemetery, at the gun grave. Right. That's how God works. The Lord works in mysterious ways, and I'm learning that more and more as I feel like I've had more of a spiritual rebirth again, going back to my not my childhood, but I'm starting to realize that God is a power in the Lord, and that sounds kind of silly because I'm not like a religious biblical type person necessarily, but I do feel that there's definitely, I'm a believer in God. I'm definitely of a higher power, and I always have had that spirituality about me. Because I have cheated death many times. I should be dead. I've had a lot of bad things happen to me where I've survived and overcome things, and because of my will to survive. Because you have to have a will to want to live and continue. If you get sick, you get back up and try and fight. I've had all this happen to me, so I know. And then when I saw this person the other day, a friend of mine, an acquaintance, a friend from several years ago, it really got me to thinking again how what a survivor this person is, this total survivor. Was dead in a coma for 6 months and then came back to life after dying basically, and then losing all this blood and getting stabbed and beaten up with a baseball bat. And the person had to relearn to walk and talk, and you know what I mean? And that happened to him years ago, and it's 10 year whatever how many years later he's doing great, doing so much better. And it's but I'm just saying people can survive, people can overcome challenges if you put your mind to it. There's things that happen. You break a hip, you break a leg, you break your knee, you have an injury, you get in a car accident, maybe you're in a wheelchair. That doesn't matter to me. I mean, I know that there's plenty. I don't judge people based on a cripple or disability like that, because that doesn't mean that they're any less of a person than anyone else. You're still you just have a disability or something that happened to you, but you still have the same rights and the same as anybody else, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't like the fact that society is so cruel towards people who are maybe handicapped or disabled, because I went through it myself. When I broke my hip, I was basically crippled for quite a while, and they didn't think I'd walk normally ever again or do anything that I was able to do, because it was such a bad fall and bad break. But I did. I healed. I healed. The body is amazing. The power of the mind and the body to heal itself will happen. And I didn't take medications. By the way, I wasn't on pain pills or anything. The only pain pills I took when I had that horrible injury and had to have that emergency surgery when I broke my hip in 2013 was they gave me some I guess morphine in the hospital that they were administering through an IV because I was in such pain. But after that, I didn't go back home and start taking a bunch of pain pills or anything, because I don't do that. I don't like to do that. I don't want to be addicted to pain pills or any kind of Western medicine. I believe in. I'm more of an a holistic naturopath. I don't really like allopathic medicine. I think that, speaking of medicine and all that, in doctors and hospitals and surgeries and emergencies, well, yes, I respect these people very much. I respect the people in the medical field. I respect the EMS people who have to go to the accident scenes and save people from horrible car accidents, and the firemen. Yes, I do respect these people very, very much. I have a whole lot of respect for these people. but but me personally, I think that the the the, the good thing about hospitals is if you have an emergency, like you just got into a bad accident, a car accident, and you had to be, you know, flown to the hospital in a helicopter, or airlifted or whatever, to save your life, and they have trauma surgeons for that. That I find very important. But other than that, like, certain, like, if you have to get a surgery, yes, I understand that, and I'm in accordance with that. I'm not completely antiquated and archaic when it comes to that, but I don't feel that a lot of these Western medicine things are of any benefit for a person in the long term, as far as your health, because it really can become an addiction. It can, people get addicted to these what are they called? Obituates? Not obit. I'm going to say obituary. Um, barbiturates or opiates, whatever they're called. Pain pills and tranquilizers and uppers and downers and all that pill popping shit to try to numb the pain. Anti-prescription drugs, antipsychotics, antidepressants, things like this. No, I stay away from all that stuff. I do not do that. I personally, but to each his own. If that's what people want to do, but me, I'd rather let it play out and let my body heal by eating proper, trying to eat well and vegetarian diet, lots of fruits, vegetables and things, and not drinking too much alcohol, or just trying to take care of myself, not smoking cigarettes or doing things like that, because that's all bad for you. I'm not trying to preach here, but I'm such a survivor and a fighter. That's why I'm like to talk. I love to talk about these kinds of topics, because I've seen so much stuff around me happen. I've seen people heal. I've known people from years ago, and they come back to me years later, like happy and I don't know. Sometimes I think I help people in a way that I'm not even aware of, without even trying. Sometimes, because I have that kind of natural healing thing about me that I've been told throughout my life. I'm not trying to brag, but I think I do. It's like a natural something that I have, where I've helped a lot of people heal and overcome things, addictions, and by, it's like kind of like being a coach or a counselor, but not necessarily a psychiatrist, because I don't have the the credentials for that. But I feel like I can do a lot of things that are more of like in a kind of natural way, like like God-given gift, without having to have a PhD in it or anything like that. But yeah, like me ending up at this cemetery like that. How did that happen? How did I turn on this street? How did I end up here? This was a complete fucking accident, and I wasn't even planning on coming to the cemetery and making a video at all. It was just very spur of the moment. But that's what happens, and whatever. So it gets me on a tangent talking about things. But look at these graves. Well, you can tell that there's obviously just a funeral here, because when I pulled up, there were a bunch of people dressed as if they were going to a funeral. They had gone to a funeral, and I'm not sure. I guess it's right over here where they're doing the something over there, putting the dirt on the graves. But so, yeah, cemeteries, funeral homes, things like this. These are morbid. Anything morbid, that's still my fetish. Miranda Eve Gomez. Just came upon this one. Miranda Eve Gomez. July 14th, 1999, and February 18th, 2024. She died pretty recently. She was pretty young too. Well, gosh, how old was she? She She was like 24, 23, whatever, not that old, right? If I'm not mistaken, pretty young. How did she die? You see? Then I start getting, then I just want to know, how did they die? How did she die? What happened? How did the girl die so young? Was she a victim of domestic violence? Did she get in a car accident? Did she have some kind of catastrophic illness that took her life? What happened? What happened? An accident, a car accident. These are things that just like boggle my mind, especially when I come across the graves of these people who are so young, you know? Even dying at age 50 is young, but people, I just always want to know how and why and whatever. Hmm. But it is what it is. We all die, and it's something we have to. I think everybody's afraid of death to an extent. People don't want to admit it. Some people act like they're invincible to things like this, but in actuality, I believe that everybody has a certain degree of fear of the unknown because it is the unknown. Nobody does really know. We can talk about the spiritual realm and the afterlife and the paranormal and whatnot, and people can swear up and down that they have been in contact with the dead and that they talk to the dead. And so I know I have personally seen spirits and spoken with the dead, but we never really know what happens when you die. That's what's so scary about it. It is scary because it's the unknown, and people are afraid of the unknown. It's just a natural thing to be weary of the unknown. So anyway, I know that I have a will to live. I have been suicidal before, and but I know that deep down I could never. I don't think I would kill myself because I keep getting up and starting over and trying. But I've been so depressed before that I wanted to die. And yeah, I was suicidal before in the past, but I'm not like that now. I don't like. There's a lot of things I don't like, but I don't think I could ever take my life because I've come too far and tried. I fail and I mess up and I learn from my mistakes. But that's what life is about learning and keep keeping going no matter what as much as you can. Oh my God, this woman's crying. There's a woman who's deeply in pain. That's sad. I wonder what happened. So, yeah, it's hard. I mean, I know what it's like to, speaking of death and all that, I know how traumatic it is to lose a loved one. It's shocking, it's traumatic, it's depressing because because that person's gone. It's like and I don't think that until a person has actually really lost a loved one or close friend or whatever to death, it's hard to explain that feeling to people. But I know all about it quite well, quite familiar with it myself. But yeah, it's one of these things. And this lady's over here crying, and more she was crying really loud. I could hear her from over here, and she's pretty far away. But sometimes I want to reach out to people and wish, but I don't want to interfere or like intrude. You know what I mean? It's not my business. But gosh, it's sad because sometimes we don't have anyone to turn to. Sometimes we feel alone. Life is lonely. Even when you have people surrounding you, it's lonely. It's a lonely journey, I think. That's why you have to make your own path, and they say, do what you want to do. Life's short, and try to live out your life. And sometimes it's easier said than done because so many obstacles and expectations and pressure and things happen where it's money, financial, everything, that it's not as people can't just always get exactly what they want, obviously. And I mean, I'm living testimony to that. But fuck. Yeah, I don't have any family. Like me, fortunately, I don't have kids. I'm not married. I'm single. I don't really have anything to tie me down. If I want to up and leave and move somewhere, I probably could one day. want to. I just might, you never know. But and plus, my parents are dead. Well, my dad died. Yeah, I don't have anybody left. My mom's still around, but I never see her, and she's pretty much dead already to me because we don't she never even takes the time to come visit me or anything. She's my own mother, so I don't really have any family. They don't. That's how I feel. I'm an orphan, basically, an adult orphan. Oh, look, here's look at this. This is an interesting tombstone. Alejandro Sanchez. It's like a handmade one, sort of. That's sweet. That's pretty interesting. Like, hmm. Yeah, but I like cemeteries. I'd like to just one of these days. I guess one thing that I would do if I had the money and time to travel, which you never know. One day, maybe I will. I'd like to go visit a bunch of different cemeteries in different countries like Spain and Portugal and France and Germany, and then go to South America and Mexico and visit, Central America. And that would be something I'd like to do, like go on a big, just like year for like a year traveling and staying in little funky hotels or hostels or whatever, little places and going on these adventures. But now that I'm older, I could have done that a long time ago. It's like the things that I could have done or should be doing now, it's probably not going to happen because it's so fucking expensive to do these things traveling. But I still have in the back of my mind, I have desires to do things and make little videos about it and put it on a YouTube channel that nobody watches. But that's what it is. What it is, right? We all have the right to dream or to think about desire things we desire. Look at this guy. Here's one that's kind of interesting. Calvin Klein. Oh, is this guy? Look at him. Black. I guess he's a black guy. Calvin Klein. He was only 21 or something. He got that Calvin Klein designer shirt on. Maybe he was a model. He looks like he could have been a fashion model or something. Kind of has that look. You never know. Ow, fuck! I just stepped on a sticker burr or something. Shit. Yeah, these cemeteries are filled. It just went straight up in my shoe, through the shoe. Damn, that hurt. I stepped on a sticker burr. It went right up into the sole of my shoe. Fuck. Pardon my language, but that really fucking hurt. That hurt like a motherfucker. Sorry, I don't mean to cuss because there's a lady here that's like in mourning. She's, paying her dues, respect to it. Oh, here's somebody who died. This guy. February 24th, 1958 to February 22nd, 2022. Richard Flores. He was not there. Pretty young guy, too. Looks like he was a Cowboys fan. Dallas Cowboys. Where's the one that just happened? I wonder where the funeral was. It was just here. Which one it was? Oh, I have a feeling it was over here. Yeah, I think this is where it is. I'm gonna go walk this way. King William, 1924 to 1982. William King, I mean, not King William. That's my dyslexia. Sorry. Oh, there's a cat. There's a cat wandering around the cemetery too. See, the orange kitty. Graveyard kitty. Oh, big cat, big tomcat. Don't you kind of wonder what cats like to do in the cemetery? Interesting, huh? What do they do? What do they think about? Do they have that instinct, that sixth sense? I bet they do. I bet they can feel the dead and talk to the dead. I believe they can. Don't you? Oh, here's the one that, this is the one that they just did. This was from today. Fresh. See? This was one I happened upon when I pulled up. The funeral's going on. It says Alicia Gomez Medina. M.E. Rodriguez. Alicia Gomez Medina. She died October 31st, 2024, September 19th, 1939. So she just died on Halloween. Her name was Alicia Gomez. How did she die? Maybe old age or something? Well, she was, let's see, 39. She was probably like about 85 years old, I want to say. Something like that, if I'm doing the math right, about 85, 84. I'm not so good with numbers and math, but another Gomez. What's this Gomez stuff today? It's Alicia. Oh, Gomez, Alicia, Rodriguez. Rodriguez Point. Sometimes that's where I go to get my oil changed. There's a place called Miss Rodriguez Funeral Home over there by a certain nasty fucking motel that I've been to. I don't want to talk about that. But wow, what a weird. Why am I here and why would I be led to this? What's happening? This is all like a bizarre coincidence, isn't it? Maybe. What am I doing here? And why did I come here? And why did I come across these graves with these names? But it doesn't mean anything. I'm schizophrenic and delusional. Don't forget, I'm crazy, paranoid, schizophrenic, and nothing in my life makes any sense. And it shouldn't, because nothing is supposed to make sense. It's all a facade. Everything is a facade. Everything in life is a lie. The media is a lie. The propaganda. Nothing makes any sense except what's going on in your own mind. This is all that's really valid. You are the one who creates your own reality and perception. That's why I say, fuck the media and the propaganda. Pay attention to what's going on in your own head. And you can discern from all that shit and distractions, right? To really get in tune with your higher power, which will lead you. If you lead, let the voices lead you where you're supposed to go. Things happen, you see. That's something that is a form of higher power. God. You know what I mean? Or do you? I feel the energy of God all around me. I can feel the dead speaking to me, and I can feel the energy of the souls of the dead talking to me. If you listen, you shall hear it too. Do you hear what I hear? Are you listening? Is your third eye open, as it should be, always? Okay, anyways, some people say I'm crazy. Some people say I'm not. Let that be up to the good God above. My Father in the sky knows the truth to that. Yes. Yes, indeed. Anyhow, gosh, it's such a weird day, though. It's so overcast, and I can hear voices. What was that? I'm being led to another grave right over there, but I don't know if I'm gonna go. Should I be filming this? It might land me in the mental hospital if I'm not careful. Yeah, I should have worked at a funeral home or a cemetery. You know what I mean? We all have a calling in life. Some of us don't figure that out till it's too late, but we all do. Just keep listening to the voices in your head. Whenever they tell you to not pay attention to the voices in your head, you turn around and tell them that that's what guides me, those voices in my head. So shut up. I'm gonna quit filming. Well, I'm gonna go walk back to the car. Oh, look at this one, by the way, before I leave. This is kind of, look at this one. Angelina Villalobos, en memoria de sus hijos. She, we've got the Jesus, we've got the Guadalupe, whatever this little thing is, that Guadalupe or Mary or whatever. Yeah, Mary and Jesus, right? I think. Inri. She was gosh, if she was a woman, let's just say, an elderly lady. Oh, it feels good. It's actually cool. It feels like there's this, all of a sudden, this cool breeze. Just, wow, it feels nice. I'm so ready for a little bit of cooler weather. God, yeah. I mean, something about the fall weather or the colder weather wakes up my spirit, like really wakes it up. And I mean, I don't know how to explain that, but it's something that's like a weird kind of awakening that I have when the weather changes. You know, if we all know what the, oh God, this poor lady. I feel bad for her. I mean, I'm just wondering who died. Maybe it was her husband or her daughter or son or something. I don't know. None of my business. But I wanted to kind of like say hello. And just sort of like reach my hand out to her and tell her that may the God be with you, late my friend. But I don't know her, and I'm not going to interfere. But you know what I mean. I can't help but feel bad when I see people in a lot of pain and agony, especially when they're mourning the loved one. I get very emotional. I get very emotional with that, and I actually start crying a lot. It's just embarrassing, very embarrassing sometimes. Got in the trash bin at the cemetery. Well, I guess since it was just Day of the Dead and Halloween, you know, people like to come out and do spray for bugs at the graveyards and shit. Got some bug spray and some eyeballs and plastic eyeballs, and plastic flowers that are no longer good. There's nothing like coming to a graveyard in the Mexican east side of San Antonio. Actually, it's a mixture I've noticed of blacks and Hispanics mostly, at least in that area. Maybe there's an area where there's maybe people that are not Hispanic and with Hispanic names, but I think this is predominantly from every grave I've seen almost. Well, it looks like mostly Hispanics, and I've noticed a lot of blacks pictures on tombstones of some mostly black men, young looking men too, at that, like high school looking boys, athletes. I wonder, do they, you know, gotta wonder these things sometimes. Well, I'm gonna shut this off. Bye bye for now.